The Lifetime Deluxe Doghouse. We got this from our family. Let's put it together.
Thank you. Whoa! Ooh.
He's a dog, dogs do it.
We didn't want it. You did it?
If you got one, charge. Got it. Yeah. All right, we're done. I think this assembly went pretty well. Kind of cut my finger open trying to get this piston on. The end here, on this end, was just a little too tight. The little metal clasp that's in there is too tight. Trying to force it on made the matter worse. I ended up having to get a tiny little screwdriver on the outside of it to pull that clasp up a little bit so that it would open, and then it slid on. If it's not going on, just get you a screwdriver with a flathead with a tiny little end on it. Try to pull back, lift up on that metal clasp. The first instructions to install the anchors for the heater bracket back here, you're supposed to push the anchors in, but on the first page they don't tell you how that works. So on those anchors there is a flat sort of ridge around the outside that has to go in first. It looks like it would go the other way, but the ridge on the back actually hooks into the wall. It wasn't until later when they had us do the other anchors that then it started to explain that was the case. So you'll see if you flip ahead, when it calls for you to do anchors, you can flip ahead and see what I'm talking about. So the windows are working. That works pretty well. Leave those open in the summer, close them in the winter. You could buy a heater for this. We probably will do that just so that we can have the dog be more comfortable. I did contact Lifetime in a roundabout way, and I did hear back. I asked about drilling holes in here to spray insulation because as far as I know, these are just hollow inside. They did say that while that was possible, it will void the warranty. We'll probably take some temperature readings and consider spraying some foam insulation in there. One thing I didn't care for was the way that they did these screws into the roof with this metal bar. It seems like an afterthought, really. Kind of like, hey, just screw this into the roof, you know, and it doesn't poke through the other side, but it's not holding very strong. It wants to back out. One more thing that I thought was a little lacking in the design was on the bottom, when you just screw a screw into the tabs that holds the walls to the floor. It's not going to poke anybody because it's on the bottom, but again, it just seems like an afterthought that, you know, that it's almost like we don't know what else to do. Let's just put a screw here to hold it in place. You know, it will poke you if you get on the bottom of this thing. You know, I can imagine somebody sticking their hand in there. We're getting the dog used to this. He's already going in and out to get little treats. We put his bed in here. So he has an old bed. We're going to get him a new one because he tore this one up. But he's going in to get little treats. We've left progressively leaving them further and further back, and now he is going in. He went in and got treats. He went in and got his toy and a bone, and we'll see if he starts to rest here during the day or at night. Overall, really easy. I was able to do this one person. Definitely be easier if you had two people though. All right, it's been about a month since we've been using this doghouse, and so far the only problem I've had is the same problem I had at the beginning, which is this gas strut. It started to unscrew itself. Actually, it came loose. And when I tried to put it back together, I had to screw it back together down here and up here in these two places. Screwing one in actually unscrewed the other and vice versa. So I had to take the strut assembly off, which led to the same problem as I experienced the first time, which was that the clamp that holds it tight onto the post, that clamp was too tight, and I had to get a screwdriver to pry it up so I could even get it on the post. But now I did screw it back and it's back on there. So I think that might just come from opening one handle a little too strongly, one handle more than the other, instead of both handles equally, or opening it from the side. Okay, now we're gonna see about getting the heater installed. Winter is coming. The dog is fine. We got him inside at night, but winter is coming and he's gonna get cold. So one thing about this heater, it does seem to be associated to this doghouse, but not necessarily, it does not come with it, and the mounting bracket here did not come with mounting bolts, and the heater did not come with mounting bolts, so you gotta find your own bolts, it seems. Bolts, or they suggest wood screws. Here's the heater that we bought. I'll link this in the description. It goes by a couple of names, Hound Heater and things like that. It did arrive with the bracket slightly bent here, so we might have to bend that bracket back ourselves. And it looks like the temperature probe is at the bottom, which wasn't clear to me how that worked just from the pictures, but there it is down there. Here's our control knob on top and our protected cable at the bottom here. This heater has these two sort of shoulders on it, on the bracket, and I thought without looking that this was supposed to wrap around that mounting bracket on the side, not realizing that that thing is actually much larger than this. You can see that this is actually much smaller width than that, so the holes do line up with this. Maybe there's a bigger one that goes on there, or this is supposed to stand off the other bracket to provide for airflow. I'm not sure. We're going to see what kind of bolts we need to get this on here, so we might have to do a little trial and error here. In order, if we're going to put nuts on the back, we're going to have to undo a couple of the bolts on here to loosen this bracket in order to get on the back side. The hole on the heater is small. The hole on the bracket is a little bit larger, so it's not like you can go through one and go through the next and it'll self-tighten around the threads like a friction fit. We can use the longer bolts, and luckily it looks like they're going to kind of go in the gaps. They're not going to go through the wall, which was, I didn't want to make any more holes in the wall that I didn't have to. So we can use these longer bolts that I have. If I can find a nut for them, we'll see. It should go in the indentations in the back wall there. So this looks to be, if I had to guess, about an 1.5 inch bolt that we're going to use. I've got all four, bolt, bolt, screw, and screw, holding the bracket to the wall. We just got to tighten it up. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can get this plug out the back and the bottom hole down there. That they actually provide the hole for you to route this thing in, and we're going to try to get it down in the wall valley and then out the back. Okay, it looks like there's actually just a grommet there. I thought that there was some sort of plug, but it's just a grommet. It looks like we can go right through it with the cable. Okay, we're gonna try and see if we can get this cable into the little valley has little claws. It's an anti-scratch, anti-chew metal around the cable, so he should leave it alone. So we're gonna try to still put it in the wall though. It's not clear to me if maybe I should have taken the wire, the plug, and gone kind of backwards instead of down first, backwards through the bracket, through the middle hole where it's actually the fan sucking air through there. I thought these two would be more compatible, this doghouse and this heater. It is not fitting in the wall. It is not like wedged in at all. It just keeps popping out. So I think once it's in there, I think we should probably get some brackets to screw that down into the wall. If it's too loose, I think it'll encourage the pet to probably bite or scratch at it. Okay, this is why I guess I stopped throwing things away. So I did find some extra brackets that I had. Sort of these rubber coated metal brackets that we can wrap around there and screw into the wall. I got some short little screws that we're going to use to screw in and hopefully get this cable sort of cinched down to the wall. Or clamps, I should call them clamps. Okay, we got our first bracket clamp holding the cable back there. We put the screw on that high ridge and it's not poking through the back, so that's great. Clamp number 2 is on. Okay, we want the dog to be safe. I don't know how well this is going to work. We're going to have to keep a close eye on it to make sure he's not chewing and scratching on that. You know, I made it inconvenient by screwing it to the wall, but I do wish it had been able to go in that track on the back wall, but it does not work with this cord. It will not stay in. Maybe, you know, you could put it in there and then put some different brackets on top, maybe like just some U brackets on top of that. Kind of frustrating. I kind of wish these two companies would get together and sell a matching pair. I know this heater works, I'm sure it works, and it works in you know, big chicken coops and stuff like that. But I mean, when it goes by the name of Hound Heater and it's made for dog houses, I think it'd be nice if they made this a little bit more seamless. All right, we're gonna makeshift this cord reel. I don't really want to have this heater too close to the house, especially if it's going to be on for a long time in the winter. I'm going to try to put an extension cord on it and get it a little bit further away from the house and, you know, let the dog try it out. So we'll see how it goes. Let's plug it in. Okay, we got a fan. Let's check the thermostat. I just realized also in the box there was this little tiny filter, which I saw it and I wasn't sure if that was a filter or not. I've never seen one this small, but it says to put it between the heater and the wall to prevent dog hair and such. Not clear to me where exactly it goes, top or bottom, so let's take a look. I'm assuming they mean for this filter to go right back here behind the knob. All right, we can hear the fan going. It's definitely doing something. They say don't touch it, but I touched it. I did hear from other reviewers that the bottom is cooler in case your pet touches it. That currently, right now, does seem to be the case. I don't know if that'll ever change, if it'll get hot. The top of the heater is hotter, is warmer right now. It's still warming up, not completely there yet. Let's see if we can get the dog introduced to this and see if it makes him happy. I got you, Bo. Treat, treat. Come on. We've been running for about 30 minutes now. I'm going to see with our temperature gauge how hot it is inside. Okay, depending on where I point it, I'm getting about 50 degrees inside right now, which is a few degrees warmer than the concrete right now. So it's still warming up. Our heater is on 122 and about 150 at the top of the heater. Okay, I think we'll give it some more time and we'll see what the temperature is. Okay, we're back this morning. I saw the dog go in a couple times last night trying to get some pieces of his bones that he wanted, but he didn't want to go in. I think maybe the noise, he's not used to that. So we'll see if we can acclimate him over a few days probably. This morning, after running all night, there was a 16-degree difference between the temperature of the floor. Now, I'm not testing the air, but just the floor. So the floor and the concrete was 16 degrees difference. It was 34 and 50. It's midday now. It actually feels pretty good outside in a coat. So let's check it again and see what the difference is. I'm getting about 40 or 41 depending where I aim on the concrete. So about 61, 62 now. And that's with this little window open. 63. It's holding right there. So let's say 63 to 43-ish. More 41. So right now there's about a 20-degree difference. After it kind of warmed up outside, it's probably heating a little easier. So right in the morning when it was coldest, 16 degrees difference, floor to concrete, and right now 20 degrees difference. So it's pretty good. Just opening the roof to put my head in, I can feel the difference. One more thing, I did notice the heater when it turned on, it did for at least the few minutes that I was there at the beginning, it did smell like almost like a hospital just coming off that metal. So probably, you know, give it time to air out after it starts heating up, the first time at least. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this. 16 or 20 degrees, that's pretty good. I didn't even know it was going to get that big a difference. It is on high, by the way. I guess it wouldn't be that big a difference if it wasn't on high. So this is good. It's good for your pet at night. Winter is coming. It is time to keep them warm. Take care of them. Overall, pretty good unit. I think the two companies need to get together a little bit better. Probably put some better instructions in there, put the appropriate mounting kit. A lot of people might have trouble with that. I think with the doghouse, the struts are going to be the one problem for me. I think I'm going to have to replace those eventually. And the last thing I think is the cord. The cord did not fit in that groove where it's supposed to go, where the instructions say it goes. Well, it does fit, but it just won't stay. There's nothing to hold it in. Like, I assume that it would be more possible to squeeze it in there. It's just molded plastic. I don't know if there's a way to make that tighter than they did. So I think If I were you, I would count on using some sort of brackets or clamps here, just like we did here, to hold that hose to the wall. One more thing I've noticed about this doghouse, you don't have to be concerned about breathability. There's obviously the door flap lets some air in. If you close these windows up, there's actually an air gap back here too. This does not seal tight, so there is air leaking in, which is going to make it a little bit harder to heat this unit, I would say. And I thought about injecting into these sidewalls some insulation, drill some holes, put some spray insulation in through a nozzle. I don't know that we're going to have to do that unless it just gets really cold, but at that point we might just bring the dog in, so not a big deal. I did find out from Lifetime that would void the warranty though if you spray some insulation in the walls, ironically enough. To keep those pets warm this winter, let me know if this video helps you. This is the Lifetime Doghouse plus the heater unit installed. So give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Homestead, y'all.
He's a cutie.